Before we dive in, I want to give huge shout outs to community partners Epilepsy Foundation of America, the Danny Did Foundation, and Epilepsy Alliance America. And big thanks to sponsors Neurelis and SK Life Science. Thank you for believing in this podcast and to help keep it going. All right, y'all, pull up a seat. This is going to be good. Lakesha, thank you so much for being here on What the F. I am so excited for everyone to hear your story because it's one of incredible resilience. And when we dive in though, I want you to share with us what, after you were diagnosed as an adult, you went home and Googled epilepsy.
Yes.
And what was the first thing that popped up?
The first thing that popped up when I Googled epilepsy is death.
Death.
And when I say yes, when I say death, I was like, no, no, this is will not be the way I am my life. This will not. So at that point, I was like, I don't have this. I don't care what the doctors say, what nobody says. I don't have this because I'm like, here I am, 45 years old, and diagnosed with epilepsy. And the first thing that Google tells me and I read and that stands out to me is death. I'm like, no, I can't do this. This will not work for me. I, you know, and I was like, I denied having it. I mean, I feel like I had lived this long. I had been having seizures. I had been going to the doctor and they were misdiagnosing me. So I'm like, I'll be fine, because I'm not going to live my life knowing that this is my end.
Mm.
It's that epilepsy is my end, and I refuse to believe that. And
So it literally felt like epilepsy was a death sentence
mhm,
when you
yeah,
got diagnosed.
yeah,
And okay, and you mentioned too that it you were misdiagnosed.
yes.
What?
So
How long did that go on? What did that look like?
you're not gonna believe me, but probably about 20 years. I
Oh.
wasn't having seizures like um every day or every month. I was
Hmm.
having seizures like maybe 3 or 4 times a year.
But that's
Um,
still epilepsy.
hmm yeah.
Wow.
And what I feel like is most like what I talked about a lot is it's just the lack of knowledge for doctors. Um, it's also I feel like it was kind of like okay, just my color. Um,
Hmm.
I was
Like a
like,
health equity issue?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like, is she like, oh, we just want to get her out of here. The hospital so crowded, like we just push her out and tell her that she was stressed. So all these years, and I promise you, like 20 years, I never seen a neurologist, nothing at all.
So
I
I
was
just don't, I
going,
just can't. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just blown away. It's like
hmm
20 years of having 2 to 3
hmm
seizures a year.
I still remember my first one. I was working at a warehouse and I was probably maybe in my 20s. And I was thinking, so I developed this headache and I was just like, it's strange. But then I started feeling like I was walking on clouds and I'm like, okay, like what's going on? Like what's going on with me?
Walking on
And
clouds. Wow.
yeah, it
I
was
can
like,
relate to that so hard.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like you just walking like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, so I was thinking, well, the warehouse door is open and it's cold, so maybe the cold air is hitting me in my face.
Hmm.
And I was just like, so I was moving pallets. I remember I was working at this warehouse and I was moving pallets from one end to the other end. So I was just like, well, maybe it's just the cold air. The next
Hmm.
thing I remember, I was in the hospital. I had
Oh
like
my God.
busted my tongue. I had
Oh.
my messed up my arm. I had broke one of my teeth. Like
Oh my
I
God.
was just
That's awful.
but I was in and out. I was in, out, and out. It was like they was like, she's just stressed out. That's what they told my parents. She's just need to have a lot of, she has a lot of stress on her.
Well, and
So
and
she just
maybe
needs
you
to rest.
were, but
Hmm.
stress is a trigger for for
Exactly.
epileptic seizures. So
Hmm.
like, it's just I don't get this. I just don't
Yeah,
get it.
I never was given any medicine. And then from that point on, I continued to have them like maybe every other year. I would have three or four. It wasn't until I got older that I started to have them more often than I when I was younger. But all these years, I'm so mad because I'm like, I could have helped myself in so many situations, but nobody took the time out to say, let's see, you might be epileptic. Like you might have epilepsy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
so what changed? When did like how did the diagnosis come about?
Well, and during COVID, I was actually staying with my parents at the time because they were, my parents were older, so I was like, so I was working from home, of course. By then I went to school, got other jobs, but I was still, I was still having seizures. Like my parents were still picking me up to hospitals prior years. I was still told, and I feel like also the doctors were kind of like reading my charts and was like, oh, okay. Well, she has a thing for passing out, and
It's
so
just your thing.
she's still stressed. Yeah, I just went to. I was there with my parents, and then what happened was my dad. That day, I woke up. I was fine. I was working from home. I was downstairs. I was just enjoying my day, and I woke up, and my dad was calling my name. I don't remember what happened. I don't know. You know, at that time I didn't even have a headache because sometimes I have a headache before I have these seizures, or I start feeling like the cloud walking thing. It's like I'm gonna fall. Like, okay, you gotta
Yeah.
just sit down or
It's your
something.
aura
But
beforehand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. But I knew nothing about auras because nobody ever
Right.
told me. Like, you know, so
So
even if I
nuts.
was having them, I wouldn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad found me, and my dad was like just trying to wake me up, and it was blood everywhere where I had just like busted my face, like I had fractured another tooth. I had, my eye was black, lip, I had busted my lip because when I went down on my desk, so my desk like hit my face. Um, so my dad was just like, and it's so crazy. So my dad was like, "No, I'm taking you to the hospital. I'm not waiting on an ambulance because they might say." He was like, "Get in the car, let's go." And I went to the
Mm-hmm.
doctor, and let me tell you, the crazy thing is they were gonna let me go too without testing me. But guess what happened? I
What?
started to have seizures. I started to have seizures back to back to back
Oh my
while I was
gosh.
there. They were actually getting my discharge papers again, telling me I had stress. They was like,
I'm just so sorry you had to go through. I just want to like
hmm
punch something right now. I can't even imagine how you
hmm
feel. So,
yeah, yeah, they were getting my discharge papers for me to go, and I started having seizures. And that time, I was just having them, and it was
mm.
like every time they get me situated, I was having them again. And
It's
then
almost
it
like
was
so it's
like,
like the proof they needed or something, like to be like
and it
right
was
in
like
front of
God
you.
was taught, like it was to me. I felt like God was like, she needs help, and this is
Yeah.
how I have to show that she needs help. She needs
Wow.
help. And then
I
they
have
said,
chills and
we're gonna get
I'm
you.
tearing up because that's, it's like it's such an awful thing, right? To have seizures
Hmm.
back to back to back to back.
Hmm.
But
It
for
is.
you it was like not almost, it was God intervening
It
on,
was. Honestly. And
wow.
sometimes I believe in my life. I don't know. I believe in life. Sometimes God sends signals, but they're not always like we want them to be. We want them to be flowers and roses and, candy canes
Yeah.
and dandelions. But sometimes we have to go through the storms to get, to get to the rainbow. And I believe that that was my storm. It was my saving grace, like honestly, um,
Wow.
keep having those seizures. And that was the first time I had that many in one day. So finally,
Mm,
they were like, we were gonna keep her.
mm,
I got who, then they were like, you need to see a neurologist. Even at the hospital, they did, the CAT scans, did everything. And they said, well, we got to refer you to a neurologist. And that's when I was finally diagnosed. And that's when I got
wow.
tests done, got blood done.
Mm-hmm.
And I was diagnosed when I went there to get my results and everything with him. I was just like, he was talking to me about epilepsy. And I was just like, why is this man talking to me about epilepsy? Like, what is he talking about? And he was like,
Yeah.
have you ever? I was like, are you saying I might have it? He was like, no, you do have epilepsy.
Wow.
And I was like, and at that point, I think I just was like, hmm? Like, epilepsy. I think everything just went kind of, I think everything just kind of went blank for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, it's like I just can only imagine like you're searching for an answer or maybe just accepting that this is your stress reaction for 20 years. And then you get that answer and it's like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That's
And
not
I'm,
it.
and I'm 45.
I mean, oh,
So
oh my goodness.
I've been struggling all these years.
Yeah.
And I
Oh.
didn't know what was wrong with me. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it was just like, I didn't know. So it's like, I'd be having these feelings, and when I try to explain to people, people be like, "Oh, it's just your allergies." Like, and I'm like, "No, it's more. It's
Wow.
more."
I
And
mean, this is just shining a huge, gigantic light on the lack of awareness around epilepsy. Because like
mhm,
for it to be written off as stress, for it to be written off as allergies,
mhm,
like I'm just so sorry, and I just want to hug every version of yourself that went through this for so long without knowing and then finding out. And I think denial is a really common reaction. I know I was in denial for like 2
mhm,
years, at
mhm,
least, over my epilepsy. And so it makes complete sense that you were like, no, no, this says death.
mhm,
No, I've lived through this for 20 years. This is not it.
mhm.
Um, how did that change? Like, when did you go from being like, nope, not me, to then accepting it? And
It's,
like, was there a catalyst or was it something over time? What did that look like?
it actually took some time, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I was continuing to have seizures because I wasn't taking that medicine. I was
Yeah.
like, you want me to take this many pills every day for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I think I was just like, okay, I don't have them that often. And I think I just kind of reverted back to a stress. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll keep stress off out of my life. But
Mm-hmm.
still that Google search of death and
Yeah.
then seeing people who passed with epilepsy
Mm-hmm.
still lingered in my head.
Totally.
And I'm like, I was still having seizures. And one day I had a seizure. Because I might take the medicine. If anything, I was taking it maybe one pill a week. And I
Mm.
was supposed to take four a day. So I was like, one pill
You're like, here we
will
go.
do the trick. Like I went from nothing, I can do one pill.
I
Like,
love
here
it.
you go.
I
One
love
pill a
it.
week. That's all I can take.
The
And
things we
honestly,
do, like, and
yeah, because I'm like,
justify
mhm.
when we're in denial, they're
And I was
just
like,
hilarious.
yeah, because I'm like, I just need one. Like,
Right.
you want me to take four a day,
Yeah. Mm-mm.
and I just need one. I went from nothing. So one will cure it. I'll be just fine.
I
Like
love it.
I'll be
Oh my
just
God.
fine. So
Yeah.
it's just like but I kept having seizures.
Mm,
I kept having them because I wasn't getting medication into my system to control them.
mm.
And I just had to, honestly, one day I had one, and I remember I had went to get my hair braided, and I had the little girl, she was probably about 20, and I scared her so bad. I scared her so bad because
Oh.
I was in a shop and I had one. And the crazy thing is, I had my orders before I went, but I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, you know what? I'm I'm going to get my hair braided. Like I'm going to be
Oh yeah.
fine. I took my one pill. It'll
Mm-hmm.
just calm
Yeah.
down.
I took my pill this
And
week. We're fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
totally.
fine. And I scared her so bad.
Mm.
And I scared myself because I was just like, I could have been driving. I could have hurt
Yeah.
myself. I could have
Oh
hurt
wow.
somebody else. Like I could have
Yeah.
took my life and somebody else's life
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in denial of what's going on with me.
Yeah.
And I had to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to think about that. Like, what if I would take somebody else's life?
Oh.
And then I would have been here because I just didn't do what the doctor told me to do.
Wow.
And I think I was still mad because I think maybe I could have handled it a little bit better when I was younger.
Mm.
But then that I suffered so many years.
Yeah. But we all
And the
could have
doctors,
handled things better when we were younger, you know?
yeah,
And like it's so hard when a doctor is telling you, especially repeatedly over and over, that it's just stress.
hmm
I mean, they're doctors,
yeah,
right? So it's like, of
hmm
course you're going to believe it, especially if it's the same messaging you keep getting. Like,
hmm
I think it's so easy to look back and be hard on ourselves. And I can totally understand
hmm
why you would be, but it's also like,
hmm
it's not like this was coming from WebMD.
hmm
It was
yeah,
doctor after doctor being like, you're
hmm
stressed, like just not
yeah,
knowing.
hmm
And I'm just, oh, so I, I feel so compassionate for your younger self. I
hmm
understand that feeling though of being like, oh, I should have done things differently,
hmm yeah.
But it does seem like you had this moment where you're like, okay, now I really need to do things differently.
Yes, I did. I
Mm-hmm.
did. I was like, I gotta face this. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
face this. I gotta fight. I gotta save
Mm-hmm.
my life. And hopefully somebody else, I can say they don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I can help somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I can something that I say can help somebody
Yeah.
that goes through this to encourage them when they tell you there's nothing wrong with you, it's stress, to keep looking, to
Mm.
keep searching till somebody says something, till somebody helps you, till somebody says, we need to test her for something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think also, I feel like with women of color or men of color who've been diagnosed, who have epilepsy, especially those who don't have insurance, those who are not in the best communities, you know, it's easy to push them along and say, you know, this is this, this is this, or and when I and I'm not gonna just say women of color too, but it's anybody. It's anybody that don't have the funds, that don't have insurance, that don't have, living in the right communities. It's like we gotta hold these doctors accountable for not diagnosing people early in life. It's people that pass away, people who are depressed, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
from epilepsy, and they just didn't know, and they could have been helped. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's an embarrassing situation, especially for those who have them like all the time. Like it's really just stopping your life from what it used to be to being like nothing, no driving, no. And we gotta support the people like that. Like we gotta support people who need us. Like, and that's what
Yeah.
I want to be because I was pushed along so long. And the thing is crazy is that I've always had insurance. My parents, I've always lived in a middle class neighborhood, but I was pushed along because one doctor wrote something on a paper and another doctor read it. And he
Mm.
said, "Oh, she's stressed." I said, "She came here 6 months ago. It was due to stress and anxiety. We're going to give her some pills for stress and anxiety." That wasn't it.
I mean, it's just, it's just proof, not that we need it, but your story is a testament to the health disparity, not only among, as you pointed out, socioeconomic issues, but also race issues. And
Hmm.
it's just, and I wish right now that I could remember or cite a source, and that shows this, but my brain doesn't remember things like that. But
Hmm.
it's, but we know that this exists.
Hmm.
And now you're a part, by sharing your story, you are a part of shouting from the rooftops that this is a problem. And that is the
Hmm.
first step to start changing it,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is why I appreciate you being here, especially walking through such emotional, such difficult times, and I really appreciate you doing this because I hope that in this it creates some sort of effect,
Yes.
that we are heard. And this is just the
Hmm.
beginning. I'm not saying this one episode is going to move,
Hmm.
change everything overnight. I
Hmm.
don't,
Yeah.
not that, but this is creating change and you are
Hmm.
creating change. And I am
And
just
that's
so
all I
appreciative.
want to do.
Oh,
Thank you.
you are right
Yeah.
now. And I'm just so
That's all.
appreciative for you being here. Um, and I was wondering too, because you did mention, like different, not driving and different accommodations. Like
Hmm.
how how did your life change after you accepted epilepsy and after you started taking your medications regularly? What
Instead of my one pill.
instead of your one pill a week? How did
um,
things start changing?
well, first of all, I had to find another job that's less stressful, So my job now is like maybe 60% less stressful
Oh
than where
wow,
I was working before.
that
Yes,
is a wow.
they know I have epilepsy. Like
Okay.
they are what my bosses are aware. And they are so supportive. Like even Epilepsy Awareness Month, they put out a little thing in our office. I only work with two people. I do drive, but I keep my GPS. Like everyone has it, like my mom, my dad, my brother. And if it's a
Hmm.
certain time and they hadn't heard from me, so we keep a check in on every time. They hadn't heard from me. They're like, "Why we didn't get a call? Like, what's going on? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. We're just busy." It's like now people call me for to be like encouraged when they like got been diagnosed with epilepsy. I was able to be a part of the epitome of epilepsy and become an ambassador for them. It's just like
Which
even
is
though I
such an
don't,
amazing organization.
hmm,
Epitome of
yes, it
Epilepsy. I'll
is.
drop the website in the episode description so everyone can check it out. Run by Janvon Cherry, who's been on What the F before, who's an amazing human, an amazing advocate. Definitely recommend everyone check it out. But that's so cool
Yes.
that you're giving back, you know?
Yeah, and it's like I can't explain this feeling that I have. It was like I was given something that was supposed to break me. But instead of breaking me, it built me.
Mm.
And I would
Wait,
have
can you
never
say that
thought.
one more time? Say, I'm sorry,
I
that is
was
just so beautiful.
I was diagnosed with something that was supposed to break me. The devil wanted to break me, but instead God built me. It's like now I know who I am.
Mm.
I see my purpose.
Yeah.
It's like I always wanted to help people, but I just didn't know how. I
Yeah.
always wanted to be something that. an advocate for something, but I never knew was going to be an advocate for myself.
Oh, wow.
So I'm blessed. I have epilepsy, but I'm still blessed. I'm still
You
here.
you are an inspiration. Is what you are. I do have a question though. About you'd said, or this is from way back. Sorry, I've just been in
Hmm.
awe
Oh,
of you
you're
for this
fine.
entire time. Um, but you'd said you didn't want to move to New Orleans because you have a good doctor in Atlanta.
Hmm.
Can you
Hmm.
tell us about this good doctor that you have that you finally got, and
Yeah.
why you'd want to stay because of that care? Because I think everyone needs to know what a good doctor looks like. Do you know what I mean?
A good
I think
a
that's
good
a part
doctor
of it.
is your friend, turns into your friend. So you have that friend that is real with you, that no matter what, if it breaks you or makes you sad or you cry or you're like, he gonna tell you the truth and he's gonna be like, every time I went back to the doctor from having seizures, because every time I would have them from taking that one pill, he already knew. He's like, you ain't taking your medicine. And he would talk to me real. Like he doesn't talk to me like, how like sometimes you go to and they're like so politically correct and they gonna no. Pushes that clipboard to the side and be like, I know you ain't taking your bills. I know you're not.
I love that.
Because you back in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good doctor knows you. He talks to
Mm-hmm.
you like you're your friend. He's your friend. He knows he can read your chart and tell you what's going on because he was upset. Like
Mm.
he was like, "What? They they did what? They
Mm-hmm.
this is not stress.
Yeah.
This is not stress for all these years." It was like, this is not stress. A good doctor, when you skip an appointment, he reaches out to you and say, well, why you ain't come? Like, what's going on? Why
Mm-hmm.
you not here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why you not here?
This is, oh my gosh, this is resonating so hard with me just because, like, there's so many times where my doctor's done the same thing, just been very
Hmm.
real with me, you know?
Hmm.
And I love how you say, like, they're like your friend. They'll tell you,
Hmm.
they'll call
Hmm.
you out on things, when you
Hmm.
need to be called out.
Hmm.
And also they know you. Like,
Yeah.
I've never really thought about this before until you brought it up, but like I know, like, and I am very fortunate because I love my doctor in the
Hmm.
same way you love yours.
Hmm.
And I feel like sometimes she remembers me better than I remember myself because she'll be
Yeah.
like, well, when you did this and this and this, it had this effect. And I'm like, I totally forgot about that. How do you just
Hmm.
remember that off the top of your head?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you don't have epilepsy, so you have a good memory. But still, like, like
Yeah.
like I'm always impressed. I'm like, I can't
Hmm.
believe you remember this about me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that's such a great thing to point out about a really excellent doctor that we all deserve.
Hmm.
And yours also like had your back. Like you said, he was
Yeah.
pissed too. He was like,
Hmm.
"What? How has this
Hmm.
been going on?" Like, so it's like it's so many facets, like you
Hmm.
said, of being a friend where they'll
Hmm.
call you out, they
Hmm.
have your back.
Hmm.
They'll reach out when they're
Hmm.
concerned. Like it's like
Hmm.
I never made that correlation. I think because I'm always so worried that I'll become friends with my doctor and then I won't be their patient anymore. And I'm like, so I set up these boundaries like, we cannot be
Yeah.
friends. But we
Yeah.
actually are. And I did not realize that until right
Hmm.
now.
I did have a neurologist that they referred me to first, and he actually dropped me as a client because he said the appointment that I made an appointment with him, I couldn't come that day because I had had a seizure, and he said that if I didn't come, that he was going to drop me as a client.
Oh my God. You're like, I
Hmm.
couldn't come for the very reason I need to see you.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
gosh.
but God always has a plan. We
Mm,
don't see it.
mm.
We don't see it. We don't understand. Because I'm like, how does a neurologist drop you? But at the time, I didn't know I was going through. But I was just like, okay, this
Yeah.
this is
That
it.
hindsight is like, that is
Hmm.
messed up. That is so
Yeah,
messed up.
yeah.
So where are you at now in like your seizure frequency journey? how are things going for you?
I am 1 year, 3 months seizure free. I have
Ah,
not had a year of seizure in 1 month or 1 year and 3 months. I am seizure free.
Lakeisha, that's
My
so
goal is,
awesome.
yes, my goal is to keep going. If I do have a seizure, that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
Yeah, that's a
Because I
really,
know what my life is.
yeah, that's such a healthy mentality, because I feel like I talk to, well, and my seizure frequency is about 6 to 10 weeks, which for me is very good.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but there's that pressure that I feel like I've had to
Hmm.
work with anyway of
Hmm.
remaining seizure free,
Hmm.
where like it's like a joy, but also like a little bit of anxiety of like, okay, but now I've made it 9 weeks. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
thing. I can
Yeah.
only imagine what that's like after a year and 3 months,
Hmm.
which is so
Yes,
amazing.
a year and 3 months.
Mm,
I'm like, but you know what? If I have one, I'm okay.
yeah.
I'm more educated now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my parents, my family, my friends are more educated now.
Mm.
Um,
How are your friends
I
more
make sure.
educated? How did you do that? What does that look like?
Well, first of all, I had to clear friends who didn't understand.
Yeah.
Who didn't understand, I had to be your friend from afar
Mm-hmm.
because I might go out and I might have a seizure. And are you gonna be embarrassed because I had one? Do you
Mm.
know how to properly take care of me or what to do
Mm-hmm.
if I have a seizure? I need friends to step up
Mm-hmm.
and say, hey, you know, um, her medical card's in her wallet. I always let them know.
Mm.
I always wear my medical bracelet. I never take it off. So I wear that with epilepsy. It states I have epilepsy. Um, and my friends know, they call my parents. I let them know. Um, don't try to put anything in my mouth. But
Yeah.
my close friends are really, yeah, because I'm like,
That one.
everybody wants to put this spoon in your
I know.
mouth, and I'm like, just don't,
Just don't know. I.
don't, don't do that. Don't make things worse than they already are. And your real friends are going to be educated. And it's so funny that I have a couple of real friends, and they'll call me and be like, did you know if you have epilepsy, like this might, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I was just on social media, or I just knew we was going out, so I wanted to make sure that,
Oh.
I knew everything. So, you just have to weed out, this diagnosis, it takes you through so many emotions
Mm-hmm.
of, and it's finding you. Like when you accept it, it's finding you. It's finding peace in it. It's finding understanding. It's finding strength. Like in this whole thing.
Yeah. Mm.
He knew I was weak, but now, girl, I think I'm superwoman.
Hell
And
yeah,
I'm
you
okay
are.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'm
Yeah.
okay with having epilepsy
Yeah.
because everybody got something. Mine just epilepsy.
Yep. I think that's that's such an important thing to keep in our heads is that like no pun intended about keeping it in our heads, but like,
Hmm.
everyone has
Hmm.
something. Everyone's going through
Everybody got
something.
something.
Everyone's got a battle.
Hmm.
Everyone's got something they're working through. Um,
Hmm.
and the way that you have taken what happens, what your thing is, and all of the hardship that you went through for all of those years. And now you're like, okay, but now I'm here. I've got it. What can I do? How can I be of
Yeah,
service? That is amazing.
I'm
Absolutely
ready.
amazing. Yeah, I know you
I'm
are.
always ready. I'm always ready. Whatever I can do,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it that helps is like podcasts like this.
Oh, you're so sweet.
If I would have known something about this podcast like this, it could have helped me because I could have just been like, hey, this might be what's going on with me. So I feel like it might you might not feel like it's look big, but what you're doing is huge.
Oh, thank you.
You saving somebody.
Oh,
Somebody's just looking at this and it's like, this is what's going on with me. And I need to seek help. And we gotta be when we go to these doctors, we gotta be like, when we go to these doctors, we gotta be like, no, I wanna be tested.
mm-hmm.
I wanna be tested. I want you to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pass me along.
Absolutely. So if anyone is listening and is in this situation, the tests you want are, the biggest one is an EEG because that, which is not fun. Just heads up,
No.
it's the worst. but can get
Don't
you.
get your hair
Yeah,
fixed.
yeah. Make sure you like plan a vacation for yourself
Yeah.
afterwards or something, or a massage,
Hmm.
anything after it's done.
Yeah.
Um, but like it can give you answers,
Hmm.
and it's the answers that ultimately lead to controlling, hopefully, to the better than they are now, your seizures, which like
Yeah.
I think I think is just so. I mean, I wish EEGs were more accurate. I feel like anytime I
Hmm.
have an EEG and I'm supposed to have a seizure, like I rarely do. It's like
Hmm.
it's like my
Hmm.
seizures
Yeah.
hide from the EEGs.
And then
So
when you get home, like, hey, girl, I'm sorry, I was
oh,
asleep.
exactly. Yes, it's like, oh, I'm
Here
sorry. Was
I
I supposed to
am.
show up? Yeah. God.
Nobody invited me to the party,
Right.
but
Yeah.
now I'm here.
Yes. And so that's all that is to say, like, you could not have a seizure on an EEG but still demand more looking into
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
I
Don't
know
stop.
I had two seizures in front of, thankfully, in the hospital on an EEG in
Hmm.
front of one in front of a nurse and the other in front of an attending, not an attending, I don't know, some sort of doctor who's, not the
Yeah.
hierarchy.
Hmm.
And my seizures are focal, so you can't
Hmm.
see what's
Yeah.
happening. It just
Hmm.
looks like maybe I'm staring off for 7 minutes or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
And those seizures didn't show up on the EEG. But
Hmm.
because I had medical witnesses in the room at the time, they were like, "No, you definitely had a seizure, but it just didn't show up." So it's
Right.
like it's not like it's just this easy solution. Like go get an EEG, it'll
Hmm.
figure out. Like, and I know this. I'm not trying
Hmm.
to make this sound, more difficult than it is, but it is difficult
Hmm.
and it does suck to
Yeah.
look for answers. But that's for any chronic
Hmm.
illness, any medical issue
Hmm.
where you're like, I know something's going on and I know
Yeah.
someone is lying to me or is not looking at
Hmm.
me seriously or brushing me off. And
Hmm.
when you're finally ready to, you know, take that leap and be like, I'm going to figure this
Hmm.
out, it might
Hmm.
take more than, you know, than the
Yeah.
standard of care.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But don't stop. Don't
Mm-hmm.
stop.
Yeah.
Don't
Can't
stop.
stop.
Find an answer.
I love it.
Find an answer to you till you if you gotta beat every doctor's door down. Don't stop.
Wait, what'd you say?
Don't
Every doctor's
give up.
what?
Every doctor, every hospital, if you
Yes.
gotta go to different hospitals,
Yes.
if they
Yes.
don't give you an answer, go to another one.
Yes. Absolutely.
Get the right medication that fits you
Mm-hmm.
and live.
Mm-hmm. Is that what helped
Don't get
you
stuck.
become like have less seizures? Was it the medication? Like finding the
Hmm.
right
Yeah.
med? Okay,
Find the
wonderful.
right med. Like I had to go through a few, of course. You gotta find the right because I was like one day biting people's head off. One day I'm sad and crying. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Those side
But you
effects,
gotta,
they
yeah,
they will. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yes,
So
I.
my family is like, is she hurt? And I'm like, no. And then one day I'm crying, and one day I'm just snapping off on everybody.
Yep.
You gotta find what's right for
Yep.
you. You gotta
Totally.
find what's right with you. Yeah. And still, even when you find what's right for you, doesn't mean that you might not have side effects. You still might have some.
Mm-hmm.
But some are just a little bit better to deal with versus the other ones. So,
Totally.
but find the right medication and don't take one pill. If the doctor tells you to take 4 to 6 a day, take them. One pill a week is
Yeah.
not going to do
It
it.
won't do it, unfortunately.
Mm-mm.
Yes. Lakesha, I can't thank you enough for being here. But
Thank
before we wrap up, I want to ask you 3 questions.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to start with a simple one.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite color?
Yellow.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You're a yellow gal. You're just so, you got such beautiful outlook and a beautiful smile to match. And it's just kind of like you exude sunshine. So that makes,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Number 2, this one might be a little bit more difficult. If you could go back and tell your newly diagnosed self one thing, what would it be?
This is not the end. This is not it for you.
I'm sorry, I gotta be crying too. Yeah.
Like, girl, you got so much life to live.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I can't. Oh, thank you. Okay, that's very true. Yeah, let me get myself together here. That hit me really hard. Because when I started to accept my epilepsy, it did feel like the end. And I appreciate you saying that. I think that's something that I need to remind myself all the time. You know?
We got so much life to live. You got so much to do.
Mm-hmm.
You got so much to do. This show, you got so much to do. Epilepsy is not your end either.
Lakesha, you're killing me. I can't stop crying. Thank you. It's so beautiful. Okay. Last question. What does it mean to you to be a friend?
It means to me to be a friend is that I'm not perfect, but I'm solid.
Oh, I feel like you have so many quotes that we could like put on pillows or magnets or coffee mugs or something, and that is one of them.
I'm not gonna always give you the right answer, but I'm gonna be there. I might can't carry you, but I'm gonna push you.
It's like you're gonna be their doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna be a good
I'm gonna
doctor.
read your chart. I'm gonna read you my chart.
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna read you my chart, and we're gonna find the right way to help you. Whatever you got going on, we're gonna find medication or whatever support, whatever we need to help you. Because I'm solid in this.
You're so amazing. Lakesha, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. I know it's going to help so many people out there. I just appreciate the heck out of you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're going to, it's something new. 2026 is going to be a good year.
Yes, it is. We'll make it one.
We're going to make it one.
I love it.